It's all but official. One of the worst kept secrets in the history of football is finally going to be coming out in the public at last. Kylian Mbappe is finally going to be a Real Madrid player. And I say finally because for many years it has felt like something of an inevitability. We've known it for a fact that Mbappe idolized Zinedine Zidane, was a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, and as a young boy would often support Real Madrid. Given the fact that Real Madrid are one of those clubs that tend to get the players they want, especially if they're up there with the best in the world, like Mbappe clearly is, it always seemed the case of when rather than if Mbappe would be making the move to the Santiago Bernabeu. However, it took a long time for it to happen. I mean, 2024 is when it will be happening, but in accordance to many, it is probably about 2 years too late. But why exactly is that the case? Well, it's been a complicated past few years, which of course had, unexpected contract renewals, betrayals, contract exit clauses, you name it. We're going to cover all of that in this particular video. And this is the timeline of how Kylian Mbappe first rejected and then ended up joining Real Madrid anyway. It starts off with 2022, and 2022 is the key year because that was the time when Mbappe's contract was about to expire with PSG, and Real were very keen to ensure that they could sign him on a free transfer. But the big twist came when Mbappe ended up agreeing what at that time was reported to be a 3-year contract with PSG. And the 3-year contract actually ended up leaving many in Real Madrid furious, especially the president Florentino Perez, because he had spent months building a base with Mbappe, with his agent, who's also his mother. All of this done and just undone by, out of nowhere, PSG basically handing Mbappe the keys to the kingdom. At least that's what it felt like at the time. But what we didn't know is that Mbappe, the clever businessman that he is, had left himself with an out that he's now taking 2 years later. What is that out? Well, there was news that the 3-year contract that he had signed was in fact a contract that was 2 years plus the option of a third, but that option did not exist with the club. It existed with Kylian Mbappe. So what Real did once they noticed that, listen, this break clause exists, once news of it became public knowledge, they simply stayed in touch with the player and said, listen, if you want to come, we are still going to have you over, and Mbappe stayed interested. And then once it became clear that that option resided with Mbappe, and if he chose not to take it, 2024 could very well be the summer in which Mbappe could eventually once again end up becoming a Real Madrid player. And then the big bombshell came when Mbappe announced that come the end of the 2024 season, he'd be walking away because he was choosing not to exercise the renewal, which meant that PSG were going to be losing a player that they invested £180 million on in terms of a transfer fee for absolutely nothing. And that is the key part, the one thing that led to the transfer at last. I mean, sure, Real Madrid could have gone in and gotten him for more money, but it is a clear argument to be made that if he had not declined that extension, then PSG would have been asking for astronomical sums. As such, he ended up becoming a free agent on June 1st, and now the expectation is he will be joining Real Madrid. It's been reported by every reliable news journalist out there as far as the sport of football is concerned. And truth be told, they were really only ever going to be the one logical destination. They were the one club his heart was set on, but also the one club who'd be able to afford his wages as well as all of the bonuses and guarantees that he could potentially be getting when he was at PSG. And of course, it'll also offer him the chance to add that one trophy to his cabinet that he hasn't been able to, a Champions League. He did make the final of the Champions League one time with PSG, but that was in the 2019-20 season, and PSG didn't win it. So at long last, 2+ years of back and forth, of new contracts, of break clauses, of contact, of betrayal, all of this culminates with what should have actually happened about 2 years back. Mbappe, one of the world's best players, joining Real Madrid, one of the biggest clubs in the world. But what were your thoughts on this entire saga, and do you think this was actually something that was needed, or maybe this was what was best for Mbappe because it ensured he could leverage the best deal for himself? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, X and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go ahead, check out some other videos we've done as well. For now, from my side though, it is goodbye.